everyone, and welcome to another episode of Animation Analysis. As always, I'm Sam.
And what's up, gamers? My name is Immortal, and today we are going to be looking at the death battle between Tanjiro and Jonathan Joestar. It's Demon Slayer versus JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah, I'm Immortal, and we're doing the thing we usually do.
Yeah, as he said in the epic Mr. Beast style voice, we're gonna be analyzing Tanjiro versus Jonathan. And this one I'm excited to break down because Tanjiro versus Jonathan is actually one of my most wanted episodes for like a while. So for me, I guess we're looking at if it lived up to the hype or not. Well then, let's dive in. Okay, I'm already gonna start off by praising this. These background visuals, like this is so good. The fact that the grass isn't just like standing, like every single blade of grass is moving, and that is so impressive.
They use Unreal for the backgrounds, right?
I don't know if they still do. I think it's an. I don't remember. I do remember how the animators have mentioned they make the 3D background now. I don't know if it's Unreal. Maybe so. But aside from that, yeah.
So there's something like Unreal or Blender.
Like the water in the background. Okay, we'll get a better shot later. But before we talk about, I'll talk about the water if they want to get a clearer shot later. But also, okay, starting off, this one's a little more like a more customized sprite, but I really like how detailed this is.
It is a good sprite.
Yeah.
Like, for the most part, whether they're using customs or editing official ones, I don't think Death Battles had bad sprite work for a while.
Yeah. Like, we met, while the two of us were gonna go over, like, there are actually some distinct issues in this animation, like, compared to last time that we'll go over, but that we'll save that when we actually get to that part.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like, that water in the background looks really good.
Apparently animating water in anything is a bitch.
Yeah. Which, actually, speaking of which, we'll get to that later. But, alright, Jonathan's animation here.
Step aside! I've sworn to slay all of Dio's demonic minions.
I will say that while some of it does look rigid, the overall like movement is pretty smooth.
Yeah, and there's one thing I do like.
Yeah.
Like, right off the bat, they don't do the smaller sprite things for the mouth.
I don't know who.
Yeah, they just it's not like the flat color and they just add this mouth on extra. Like the mouth is like part of the sprite itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really well done.
You better leave her alone, you poor wretch.
Okay, I will say there's something that does annoy me here already, is how they have Nezuko run off here.
I don't know who you are, but you
But
better
when they
leave
take the
her
next shot,
alone.
Somehow she's barely moved away from him.
That's a Sonic Adventure 2 cutscene right there.
You poor
And, like,
wretch,
as we see in the
shackled
background,
by
the
the
water's,
chains of this
again, the water's
harpy's
really good.
insidious mind control. On my honor, as a gentleman, I will free you. Control.
really like-
on my honor,
I also just
as
like,
a gentleman.
I will say I do like the vocal performance of Jonathan's voice actor here. It's not like 1-for-1 compared to like the English dub, but then again, you can't really. Johnny Young Bosch's voice is not one that you can easily imitate, especially if it's Johnny Young Bosch doing a British accent.
Wait, Johnny Young Bosch voices
Johnny Young
Jonathan?
Bosch voices Jonathan in the dub. It shouldn't.
I did not
fit.
know that.
It really shouldn't fit, but he makes it work.
Oh, alright then. Cool.
I will free you.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Did you bump your head?
Okay, this is the first example.
This is my...
This is the first example of like one of the three main examples of mood whiplash in the fight that we'll get to. This one is the one I have least problem with personally because of the fact that Tanjiro's so genuine about this. He thinks Jonathan's like actually confused, and I like that a lot. But as for you,
Since I don't JoJo or Demon Slayer, this just comes off as like, what?
yeah,
They're
the short
literally
version
about
is
to start
Tanjiro is,
fighting.
Like, so basically, like Tanjiro, as you may have read in the analysis, Tanjiro and Jonathan are both like very good boys. Tanjiro is absolutely the kind of guy to like ask about your like if you've been like eating healthy right before a fight or something like that. So like here he's trying to like he's basically thinking instead of like assuming the worst of Jonathan instantly, he thinks it's a mistake, which well he guesses correctly. Like Jonathan, obviously Jonathan didn't bump his head, but you know. All right, and now we start. I will say, I really like the sword fighting here. The sound design is actually interesting because unlike some past fights, like say, like Guts versus Nightmare, where the sword swings are heavy, this one, the sword swings are like a lot like Light versus Mitsuru, where the blades are noticeably lighter sounding.
I guess that's also portrayed in like the way the swords are, because in Guts vs. Nightmare, the swords are fucking huge.
Like the Guts versus Nightmare, like
do you really expect something like that to make a big clanging
because
sound?
if this was like a season 2 episode, these things would make those heavy clanging noises Guts' sword is known for. Yeah, aside from that, I really like how they went for like the audio sounding fairly close to how they actually sound. Even though maybe you could argue Jonathan's strike should sound heavier, since Tanjiro's using like a katana-style weapon, while Jonathan, if I recall correctly, his is like a broadsword or longsword.
From like the one shot we get in the analysis, it does look like that.
Yeah.
Bump your head?
And now we get to the first example of the water breathing.
Total concentration! Water breathing!
Okay, it looks fantastic there. I'll say that right now.
Concentration! Water breathing!
That is so fluid and smooth. Which, again, I'll get to it later, but yeah.
Most unorthodox.
Also, Jonathan, love that. He loses his sword temporarily, but he doesn't let him
You fight with valor, noble swordsman, but I know the burning passion of my heart will carry me through!
The punching animation's really smooth, and the whole, like, honorable way Jonathan's talking, I love that. But then this leads into the, hold on, you wanted to say something?
I was just gonna say it's fine.
Yeah. And leads into the second example of the mood whiplash in the fight.
Aww, he's kind of adorable! Like a puppy!
Okay, honestly, I think me, Laurel, and like a lot of people that watch this don't understand why Tanjiro said that, because at this point, Jonathan hasn't really done anything to make Tanjiro make that oh, it's adorable reaction. Aside from like, I guess you say the passion of my heart is like an endearing character trait or something like that, but that's honestly.
I guess.
Yeah, this one kind of just.
Yeah, this is like.
Yeah.
I wonder if he has a caretaker nearby.
Also, that's really smooth.
I wonder if he has a caretaker nearby.
Right into Jonathan catching his blade. And if you listen carefully, you can actually hear the sounds of his bones like snapping out of place, which is like really good attention to detail.
It is good, but it's also gross. Which is intentional, but like it is good.
Also, another thing. Maybe it's a little comical, but Tanjiro when he kicks out the tree, the tree actually bounces back slightly, which is, I find that pretty amusing. You could argue that's a detriment as like, oh, not a realistic tree, but I think it's funny.
Trees act like that.
Okay, now here's an example of where the water is a little more mixed, because when Tanjiro starts here, that looks good. But when after he touches, it just becomes a single PNG that's moving along the track. Now, I understand why they did this, because, well, animating this is obviously going to be like a huge hassle. There's a lot of work animating this. All hand-drawn, because how Demon Slayer, they animate every single frame differently. But that style's not going to have Ufotable's budget or tax evasion money, so they obviously can't recreate it.
Description, tax evasion money?
Yeah, I'll tell you about it later. Anyways, but yeah, this unfortunate issue, but then we get to the next part, which is also a little mixed.
I like this shot.
It's even though it doesn't like have as much detail, like it has the similar issue of like only being like a single PNG, but it's still really good that it doesn't like bother. It doesn't really like pull away from the animation as much. It's honestly, I compare it a lot to like when a comic book speedsters or just like fast characters in general move, they leave like that line behind them.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that in a way.
Yeah, I think I get what you mean.
You're mine!
And just the abruptness of it all, and also the dispersion animation is really good there.
I think it just punches it.
Yeah, he does. That's a great part too. Jonathan doesn't beat it with his own sword blow. He just punches it.
Valiant footwork!
I will another attention to detail.
Valiant footwork!
Jonathan complimenting, again, focusing on the more honorable part of him. Then Tanjiro actually pulls off one of his headbutts and stuns Jonathan, which is a lot of people actually missed this the first time around because of how quick this bit is, but Tanjiro actually headbutting Jonathan makes sense because in canon, Tanjiro actually has like a really hard forehead that has actually knocked some other people unconscious when he hit them with it.
Alright then.
Yeah. And he actually gets in a hit here.
They make an emphasis, like, okay, I don't know if I should bring this up now or not, but
okay, you can bring up maybe a little later. But like when we get to that part, we can call back to this later. But yeah, and also,
alright.
Jonathan, he gets stabbed. What's his response? Kicks up the tree.
I don't get this. Is this like something he does in the series, like just picks up a tree and hits someone with it?
Well, it may indirectly be a reference to how in canon, at one point, after like his arms healed by Hamon the first time around, he just randomly lifts up a rock. Even though said rock was nowhere in the shot at all, it just materialized out of the air, and he's like, I can lift this heavy rock. Maybe it's a reference to that, probably not, but honestly, Jonathan picking up the tree is just really funny.
I do like it when they actually like use the environment more for their
That's
attacks
the
and
thing I will
stuff.
always give, is when they use the environment to their advantage in any way of the fight, it's almost always well done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, and we got some more hand-drawn.
No kamikaze!
That cut.
No kamikaze!
That is so well done. Like, unlike the water breathing style, which had a couple of issues here and there, the fire breathing, I don't think last time I remember, there's no like real big issues with the fire breathing parts of the animation.
It is a cool scene, like.
Yeah.
Nice try!
Again, Tanjiro using his ability to spell to pick out where Jonathan's coming, that's really well done. Like, another thing, when Tanjiro does like these modes of analysis, the filter changes into a more faded like that, which I really like. And again, as we're continuing on.
Incredible! You could teach me a thing or two.
That's one thing I really like. Despite the fact that Jonathan's clearly fighting Tanjiro with like, well, under the belief Tanjiro is like hypnotized or something, the honorable nature of Jonathan keeps sticking out during the fight, and I really like that a lot.
It is charming, actually.
Yeah,
Like, for someone who's not familiar with JoJo, like...
Yeah, Jonathan's honestly, he's actually my favorite JoJo character. Like, Jonathan's just like, he's just one of the most honorable and nice characters out there. He's just great. Yeah, going on. I want to point out that there is a actual, like, if I recall, I might be remembering wrong, but there's a lot of attention to detail here. Okay, first off, the sword fighting animation still really good, but the fact that Jonathan chose Scarlet Overdrive out of like all his other ones makes sense, because in canon, he uses Scarlet Overdrive with fire, and Tanjiro started using his fire swords, his Dance of the Fire God form, so it made sense.
Oh, alright then. It's pretty cool.
No, it's in canon, no. Jonathan actually just punches literally through an open fire so he can counter Dio's freezing abilities. It's amazing.
Oh.
He lights his fist on fire. It's hilarious, but yeah. Okay, and another thing, again, the fading of the colors, as Tanjiro acts like the see-through world, is really, I really like it. It's a nice attention to detail. And it's like, and the fact that even though Jonathan was like mid-strike, the fact that Tanjiro, it's a lot like how in both JoJo and Demon Slayer, just anime in general, how when a character is analyzing, time just seems to slow down.
This breathing is carrying some kind of energy. Like me.
I really like that. And the fact that Tanjiro,
He's
like...
just like me.
I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah, and Tanjiro analyzing it, figuring it out, really well done.
And that means I know how to stop him.
And this leads into my favorite part of the fight. This animation. That is so
It's
cool.
fast, it's good.
It's ripped like straight out of like the first time Tanjiro uses this in Demon Slayer canon, and it's a mix of both being incredibly faithful and unique in its own way. This is so sweet. Like that last frame in particular, like that in particular is like ripped straight out of the anime, and I love it. Like. I'm gonna play it again. It's that tied in with the music, which we'll talk about later. It's so well done. I love it.
Isn't they did such a good job, like tracing that animation for the fight? We had a copyright strike.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, and Jonathan, even as Tanjiro's doing the thing, he doesn't let up either and uses his own thinking abilities too.
Focusing on my neck. Does he know?
Like the fact that this from just these few. Jonathan's able to analyze the fact that Tanjiro was aiming specifically for his neck, and when he does this, if you it's hard to notice.
On my neck. Does he know?
Blocking like he was blocking it. Like, that one laser thing here. The colors dim, similar to how it did for Tanjiro, because Jonathan's basically doing the whole like inner JoJo thinking thing, which is again, it's so
on my neck.
And when Tanjiro strikes,
does he know?
The color returns. It's so well done.
Silver Overdrive!
And of course, that leads into the Silver Overdrive. And then, it's all darkness. And all you hear is Tanjiro's breath. Just for it, the way the darkness disperses as he slices, like that is so well done.
It's a cool way to transition
Yeah.
back to.
And the sword shattering. It's like, you can hear, this is like the heaviest strike, this part of the sword clashes is when Jonathan's blade breaks. Like, you can just hear how powerful that is.
I got you!
Also, there's another going on in attention to detail is when Tanjiro has that thread aimed at Jonathan. It's like in canon when Tanjiro figures out like sort of like the weak point or the winning move, it's visualized via like a thread aiming at the weak point of the demon he's fighting. So it's another like
Ability he has?
Hmm?
Yeah, physical thing. Is that like an ability he has, or a physical thing?
It's more like it's not an it's not like an ability. It's like mind thing. It's like he visualizes a thread that leads him to where he needs to strike.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot like a good chunk of how Demon Slayer is mostly focused on like really well done visuals and stuff.
I didn't even notice this.
And the freeze frame here, the colors go all vibrant, a lot like how JoJo does this too. It's not one for one, because JoJo actually tends to like invert some of the colors, but this more vibrant color is really well done. And again, Jonathan's thinking.
Wait! He's going for my lungs!
And the thread snapping in canon, is when usually I might be remembering wrong because it's been a while, but the thread usually snaps whenever Tanjiro either A, lands the killing blow, or B, fails to land it. So I think it's like a double meaning here.
Huh.
And that's like a huge fake out there, because honestly, when Jonathan was stabbed here, I thought it was game over.
Same, honestly.
2 inches off. Did he dodge?
2 inches off. Jonathan Joestar, realizing he can't completely dodge it, instead moves ever so slightly still in the direction of the blade that his lungs remain intact. That is Jonathan frickin' Joestar.
Well, you know what else also helped with this?
What?
He channeled his inner speedrunner. He was backwards long jumping.
Please don't bring that up in this. So yeah, like, again, Jonathan dodging this is like, the fact that he managed to think up this in such a short time, it's something straight out of JoJo, and I love it.
It does seem like a JoJo thing, honestly.
Yeah, like,
Coming from someone who doesn't watch JoJo.
Unlike Madara versus Aizen, where while a lot of people did fall for the fake out, the music kind of let you know that, oh, this was definitely a fake deathfall. Here, the music already starts to die down after the stab, so you're thinking, oh, Tanjiro won here. And the whole light, and the fact that everything's also lighter here.
2 inches off. Did he dodge?
Tanjiro can't pull the blade out because Jonathan also used Tanjiro's own attack against him. Because it's also a lot brighter, probably indicating that it's sunrise, which leads into, of course.
Yellow!
He also just continues fighting with a fucking sword in his chest.
Yeah, it's so. I will say.
Channeling his inner Dante.
I'm so really glad they managed to pull off the Sunlight Yellow Overdrive really well. Like, even though like it had a huge contender like Dio's Stand Rush in the finale of Dio versus Alucard, this is really well done.
Yellow!
He
I really
Like, coming from someone who doesn't JoJo, that just felt, like, really satisfying.
Yeah, I will say JoJo. It doesn't really matter what you're looking at. The stand rushes or rapid punches from like Jonathan, they're always really satisfying to watch and hear. And then this leads into the ending, which I have good things to say about it and a couple of bad things to say about it. Here we go.
She's my sister.
On my honor as a gentleman, I will protect her with my life.
Okay, now should we start with the negatives or should we start with the positives?
I think you can probably cover the positives since you have more to talk about, and I can cover what I find to be the negatives.
All right, you can, hold on. I'll just while I work on finding I think I'll
I might.
I'm looking for.
Oh wait, no.
I'm looking for a frame to leave it paused on as we talk. I think we can. Okay, I'll go with the. I'll go with the class here. Okay, yeah, I'll go with this. But yeah. So you want to talk about it? Your opinion on the ending?
You can go first, because again, like, you will probably have more to talk about
Okay.
with the good than I do with the bad.
Alright, I'll start off with the negatives of the ending. Actually,
Wait,
no, I
I
think it
thought I
makes sense to talk about the positives because because the negatives kind of build off them. Okay, positive. I am really glad they went with a more emotional / tragic ending for this because it absolutely fits the tone of this fight. That's honestly the main positive, and it's absolutely a big one. The fact that they did a death battle ending where the winner finds no joy in their victory. Like compared to like Aang versus Edward, where Aang's just like, you left me no choice. This one,
Which is stupid.
yeah, this one, Jonathan shows genuine remorse over what he had done once he realizes the truth and seeks to basically atone by he swears to protect Nezuko with his life. I really like that. It even though the fact that he killed, this shows that this is still the Jonathan Joestar. I'm really glad they did that. But the negatives,
And then for like the negatives from me,
the execution of how it was done.
my main problem with it is like, well, of course, there's like the killing blow, where Jonathan just strikes a pose afterwards. And then it just
Let me
immediately
not say
cuts
the
to,
killing
oh my god, what did I do?
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. There's the two unfortunate parts. The abrupt, actually three I could honestly argue. There's the abruptness of it is like Jonathan strikes a pose and immediately goes to that. It's so abrupt, like there's no like lead up. Like what they could have done is like added another scene of like after Tanjiro says that she's his sister. I don't know, like you could have Jonathan like the realization hitting him and he like I don't know like drops to his knees or something like that. That could like definitely help with the pacing. Second issue is that Jonathan's tears in that scene are unfortunately very, very comical. And the third issue is like the delivery of him swearing to protect Nezuko at the very end is how he starts the half of the sentence emotional, but then it just abruptly shifts into the more heroic sounding. Like there's no smooth transition. It's very abrupt. Like that's the main issue with the ending. There's a lot of like abrupt cuts here and there that if this episode like had a longer like the budget of say like a finale or opener, we probably wouldn't have this issue. But unfortunately, the abruptness does kind of hurt the ending a lot. But But after all that's said and done, Jonathan then using the Holland to, I think, like, since Tanjiro was about to die, his wounds were too great or something, Jonathan using, like, the Holland to basically stop Tanjiro's heart and end his suffering early. Like, that all the way to, like, the bit where Nezuko peeks out and, you know, Jonathan reaches out and Nezuko does before pulling her hand away. That's all really well done. I have no complaints about the second half, like the ending.
With that ending shot, does it give implications that Nezuko is about to attack him?
It's
because it cuts to a shot of Red as she does it.
The cutting to the shot of Red, there's a lot of, again, it's left ambiguous on purpose, so like the viewers can basically decide what they want with the episode to happen after, which I think is really interesting. And the fact that Death Battle actually went out of their way to like go for a more emotional ending, I think that's a really good sign for like other episodes that have like, you know, two very heroic and kind characters fighting like this.
Yeah, I guess.
With that said though, overall, I'm personally inclined to give this animation 8 out of 10 myself. Like, there's a lot of good moments, but there's a lot of like distinct glaring issues, like in comparison to like Scarlet Witch vs. Zatanna, where we didn't really have anything major for the animation.
I would honestly give it like probably a 7.
So
like it's fine, but I don't really have as much emotional attachment to the episode as say you do, and the problems in it kind of stick out more to me.
Yeah, with that said, but we're still giving the episode rating a 7.5 out of 10. It's still a pretty decent rating, all things considered.
Mm-hmm.
And other details, both of the voice acting, really solid performances aside from like, Tanjiro's was honestly solid from start to finish. Jonathan had some issues here and there.
I have nothing to say on the voice actor since I don't.
Also, I will say this, the track Breathless Blades, I think this is honestly my favorite track of the season so far. It's such a good song.
I think I still like Spellaholic.
Anonymous?
Why is that name like Alcoholics Anonymous? What, are they drunk? Do they have drinking problems? I don't know.
But yeah, aside from that, decent episode overall. Most people would probably argue this is like weaker one of the first 3 episodes, but I personally, this is actually in my personal top 10 just solely because I really like both of the characters. But yeah. But anyways, with now, the next time, on the other hand,
I asked for one thing. One fucking thing.
As you guys can hear, Immortal's not very happy.
Why?
Okay, so for those that want context, Thor vs. Vegeta was a match Immortal did not want, and that would be a huge understatement.
Like Goku Black versus Reverse Flash all over again.
Now, Immortal's saying this because he's also hoping maybe the animation will be so good, just like Goku Black vs. Reverse Flash was, so that it'll, you know, make us forget about how shit the matchup is.
To be fair, when I went into that matchup, I had no expectations.
I will say though,
I might have even had negative, and I was blown away.
I will say, this episode does also have, like, really good banter opportunities, considering, like, MCU's version of Thor. Like, honestly, comics Thor being as well, and Vegeta, it honestly has really good banter opportunities.
I guess. One of my things I'm praying for this episode, at the very least, please don't bring back Lanny.
Yeah.
Again, like, major props to Team 4-Star.
But that's his opinion. He has the right to have it.
Why am I gonna get canceled for not wanting the abridged voice actor?
You'd be surprised. But yeah, anyways, with that said, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll
make sure to hit that subscribe button.
Stop it.
Like the video.
You don't have to.
And stay tuned for the next video.
You don't have to subscribe if you don't want to. There we go.
Make sure to subscribe on Patreon. Follow our Twitter.
I don't have a Patreon.
It's just... But yeah, thank you all so much for watching.
We'll be ending it off. Thanks for watching, and see you all next time. Bye.
See ya.